chapter 1. We will finish this chapter 1 today. So the next topic is about speciations. What is speciations? Speciation is the formations or evolution of new species. This picture showing you the illustration that Darwin's made during his study about fossil record and also evolutions. He made a diagram that's showing us the origin of species, which is start from the ancestor and then is developed into new species and is branching into several species. And at the end, okay, as we know right now, there are two types of main species of elephants, which is the African elephant and the Asian elephant. So Darwin said that these speciations make or increase diversity of species from one ancestor into several types of ancestor. In this case, from one ancestor, we have now two different types of elephants species, African elephants and Asian elephants. There are two types of speciations. The first one is called the allopathic speciation. So allopathic speciation means speciation that caused by different geographic area or different geographic isolation. So this is due to the different place where the species actually one ancestor go to a different place, and at different place it will create or evolve into new species which is different than species, the original species where the organism coming from. For examples, we talk about the finch bird at Galapagos Islands. That bird is actually the ancestor or the origin of that species came from the mainland, which is the South America. So they some of species move into Galapagos Islands, and then in that Galapagos Islands they actually become a new species different from the original species from the mainland. And even inside the Galapagos Island, they also evolve into different types of species. So for the allopathic speciations, okay, the examples will be the species in Galapagos Islands is different than species in the mainland South America. So this is allopathic speciation. Different speciation because of geographic isolation. There are several types of this one. The first one is called the dispersals. When a few members of species move to new geographical area. The finch bird in Galapagos Island is these examples. Vicariance, when a natural situation arises to physically divide organism. Example for this is also the Galapagos Island finches, where in that island itself, this bird is actually evolved into different species. And then adaptive radiation from one original species of bird, multiple other evolve, each with its own distinctive characteristic. And then the second type of speciation is sympatric speciation, which is the speciation or evolution of species in the same geographical area. Okay, mostly this speciation happenings in plants, okay, due to the aneuploidy, autopolyploidy, and also allopolyploidy. But we can also use the Galapagos Island finches as example of sympatric, as we know that the ancestor of this bird moved from the mainland, say in the Galapagos Island in one area, and then inside that place, the bird, the ancestor bird is actually evolved into different type or different species due to different type of food that they eat. So they become adapted to the different type of the food. And because of that, this adaptation happening for a long period of time is create many different species. So we can also use the Galapagos Island finches as the example of sympatric speciation, which is the evolution of species within the same geographical area. Okay, this is again example of allopatric speciation, different geographical area. As you see over here, there is several types of salamanders. They are different. They are become different species due to their different place of living. Some of them, for example, live in the mountains area. Some of them live in the desert area. It's causing them to be adapted to that different condition. And finally, they evolve into different species. So this allopatric speciation, which is evolution of species due to different geographic area. This is another example, okay, which is owl that live in different part of North America and also Central America. So due to this different geographical area, they evolve into different species. They used to be coming from the same ancestor species. For the sympatric speciations, again, this mostly happenings in plant, okay, due to aneuploidy, too few chromosomes. I think we already talked about aneuploidy in human. Okay, if you still remember the monosomy, okay, and the trisomy. Okay, example of monosomy is Turner syndrome. I'm gonna put here syndrome, which is this individual have only 45 chromosome, okay, lost one X chromosome, so 45X0. Example of trisomy, this is the one that have one extra chromosome, is the Klinefelter syndrome. Okay, it has 47 chromosome with XXY. It has one extra X chromosome. Okay. However, in human, this Turner syndrome and also Klinefelter syndromes, they are sterile. Okay, so they do not produce offspring. Therefore, this Turner syndrome and Klinefelter syndrome basically will not evolve into new species. Okay, they will not evolve into new species because they are sterile. However, in plants, these aneuploid plants or organism, they're able to reproduce, causing them to be a new species. Another examples, another type of sympatric speciations in plant is autopolyploidy, which is two or more complete set of chromosomes after division. They basically have extra chromosomes on their cell in their nucleus, therefore they become a new species. Another example is allopolyploid, which is gametes from two different species combined, making an hybrid, okay, hybrid. But this hybrid in plant, they able to reproduce, so causing them to be a new species. It is within the same area. So this is an allopatric speciation. And this is just illustrations, the diploid, which is a normal species, okay? Because of non-disjunction, you still remember the non-disjunction, which is the failure of separations of the gametes, causing them, some of them become double or extra chromosome, and some of them become less chromosome. So this is the monosomy individual. This is trisomy organism, and this is the normal organism. But in plants, this trisomy and monosomy become its own species when they growing and produce new generation. Okay, this is example of aneuploidy. This is the polyploidy, which is the normal one is diploid, and then suddenly, because of a mutation, they double the chromosome and become 4N. This is what we call the polyploid. So this species, the new species, able to reproduce. If you know about the seedless fruit, for example, most of the seedless fruit is actually in polyploid. So they are polyploid. They do not produce the seed. And many of these polyploid plants also unable to reproduce. Okay? But some of them able to reproduce, causing them to be a new species. This is the alloploidy, which is hybrid. So we can say this is the hybrid over here. Okay, this is the hybrid. This new organism, the hybrid, is able to reproduce, okay, causing them to be or to develop into new species. So these are examples of sympatric speciations in plant, whether aneuploidy, okay, alloploidy, or polyploidy. And this is again the hybrid. Okay, it's a hybrid plant, okay, or wheat that coming from the wild wheat, and another type of wild wheat, okay, and it's causing them to produce a new type of wheat, they call the bread wheat, that actually have different number of chromosome. Okay, this is the combination between the wild wheat that have 28 chromosome with another wild wheat that have 14 chromosome, create a hybrid. It's called the bread wheat that carry 42 chromosome. And this white breed able to reproduce. Okay, this has become a new species that coming from two different wild types. So this is the alloploidy. We can also use this Darwin finches as an example of sympatric speciations, which is the same, okay, within the same place, which is in Galapagos Island. Due to their adaptation to their food, they actually one ancestor, say, coming from one ancestor over here, okay, is actually create or evolve into different type of finches. And these different type of finches, because of their different type of food that they eat, so they are adapted to their food. So it can be divided into two types, which is tree finches and the ground finches. The ground finches mostly will have a bigger beak and thicker beak because they eat the seed, which is very hard. And the tree finches, many of them have a longer but thinner beak because they eat softer type of food. Okay, so that's the example of sympatric speciations. Again, there are two types of speciations: evolution of species, whether allopatric, if it is in separate geographical areas, or sympatric. Just remember, sim means same. So you can say sympatric means the same location. And now we go to the rate of speciations. According to Darwin, the rate of speciation is gradual. It means that it will continuously, gradually evolve. Okay. According to other scientists, they say that speciation is not gradual. It will have what we call the punctuated equilibrium, which is they change, they evolve, and then after evolution, after they evolve, they stay for a while, and then they evolve again, and then staying again, and then evolve again, and stay, and evolve again. So this is not gradual. Okay, this is, they have the period of what we call the stasis, period without change, okay, for many years. Okay, so this is what we call the punctuated equilibrium. This is the illustration of gradual, so the difference between gradual and punctuated equilibrium or speciation. Let's say it's coming from the same original ancestor. Okay, if it is gradual, then it will change gradually. So from this one have shorter beak. Okay, the original, the ancestor have a shorter beak. Now it's become longer a little bit, gradually become longer, gradually become longer. So this is the end of the speciation, which is the final species over here, which is have longest beak because of these gradual changes, gradual speciation. Or, okay, another example over here, this is coming from small, big, okay, long and small become a little bit shorter. And then the other species over here have a very thick beak. Okay, so from this one ancestor species, the final product will be two species that have very long beak, and the other species have a very thick beak over here. But they gradually change. So the changes are gradual. The second type, the punctuated equilibrium, Okay, let's say it's the same, coming from the same ancestor over here, the one that have small, big, okay, and then it changed into this, a little bit longer beak. It stay for a while, for many years, and suddenly it changed into very long beak. Okay, and then the other one over here start from this small beak, okay, become bigger, and stay for a while. So this is stay, or stasis. Okay, and suddenly it's become or produce or evolve into bird that has very thick beak. Okay, so at the end, the final product will be two species that have very long beak and another one that have very short but thick beak. So it's very similar with the top. However, the top, it has gradual change, but the bottom one, it does not have the gradual change. They stay, or they have what we call the stasis period, and then they have a sudden change on their structure or morphology. Okay, so these examples of rates of speciations, whether gradual or punctuated evolution or speciation. Okay, I think that's all. So I'll see you on Monday.